Welcome to TGOM We Family, where it is real, unfiltered, and sometimes uncomfortable, but always honest. I'm Divine Fluff, and I'm
Once
here with...
again, I'm the OG MoBetta.
Today's episode is called No Boundaries, No Peace, How We Became the Villains. And I'm not gonna lie,
Back on for this here.
this one is personal.
Personal. Very personal. I mean, it's something that we kind of been dancing around, and I feel like it's time for some truth. Not our truth, but the truth. Because I've always been one of those people that, when people say I'm telling my truth,
Or I'm living in my truth.
or I'm living in my truth, I've always felt like if it's not the actual truth, then you're lying. So I feel like it's time for us to drop some truth, period.
So today we're talking about boundaries. What happens when you don't have them, when people cross them, and how somehow you're painted as a problem in the end. Now, we're going to be talking about the living situation. Should we start from the beginning?
No doubt. Why? Ain't no need to jumping in the middle. We might as well start with, hey, how we got to that point.
Well, quite honest,
But I guess that would be left on me, huh?
I mean, it's really both of us.
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into it. Shortly after my grandson was born, a lot of things kind of took place. My grandmother passed away. That was first.
We lost the apartment.
And so in that process of dealing with that and being in North Carolina, we lost our apartment. And so I at the time Joy was back and forth to Arizona with her sisters because her mother was sick.
We got to go back then. Because it wasn't no back and forth. We was in Ohio first.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to go back, but not. We ain't got to rewrite history.
Yeah, I know we not. But from Arizona.
Okay, let's go back then. Joy was pregnant with Kate. We had some family issues.
I wouldn't go back that far.
Well, now you got to make up your mind how far back we gonna go.
I said
that's why I was trying to cut Las Vegas out until we left and got there in the apartment.
Where I was trying to go was Ohio, leaving Ohio.
But then we got to explain how we got to Ohio.
No, we don't.
All right, then. Well, I know you're gonna edit this out.
Not really.
Okay. Well, it's like this. We was in Ohio because of some BS, some bullshit. But we said we gonna damn be open and honest today. Some bullshit with my family. We ended up in Ohio with one of my exes. That's where my grandson was born. Okay.
She was your ex and my fairly odd mother.
We left, went to Ohio. My grandson was born, but during that time when we were there, we found out that Joy's mother was terminally ill. And they were out in Arizona. So a couple of months after Caden was born, Joy and my mother took a trip out to Phoenix to find out just how bad Joy's mother was. They went, they came back, they assessed me of the situation. And then eventually Joy said she wanted to try and go and make things right with her mom. So by Thanksgiving of that year, a little before Thanksgiving, Joy and Caden went to Arizona permanently. Problems progressed, the terminal illness progressed, but be all the way honest, Joy's mother wasn't adhering to the doctor's orders and what they was telling her to do. So I got a phone call one day. She said, "Daddy, I'm ready to come home because I can't sit here and watch my mother pretty much
Unalive herself.
take herself out because she didn't want to do what the doctors were saying and she wanted to keep living the old way and it was making it worse." So I got an apartment back in Las Vegas because at the time that's where we wanted to be. That's where we were coming from before we went to Ohio. So then I got the place, sent for Joy and Caden. They came home. I continued to work driving trucks. I didn't really feel bad because at the time we had people that we thought we could trust that was looking after her and Caden to make sure they were good while I was absent. Well, things started getting a little rough in the trucking industry at the moment. I was having some financial issues that I was getting on top of. It was just taking a little longer than I thought. Then I'm on my way actually home. I was on the load that was taking me home to Las Vegas, and I got a phone call that my grandmother had had a stroke. And so most of y'all out here in podcast land that know me personally know how close I was to my grandmother. So Joy and Caden, they caught a flight to North Carolina with my sister and her kid. I made it back to Las Vegas, but there was an issue with where we were staying in our apartment. So I they gave me an option to break the lease and it not show up on my credit. So I took care of that, broke the lease, put everything in storage, and I flew to North Carolina. Now, during this time span, I had already been talking to somebody that was in the beginning was a friend. And it's crazy because we were friends close to 10 years before we ever got together. And during that time, with all of these things that was going on, this person, I ain't revealing no names yet because I don't feel like that all that needs to be exposed. Now, what Joy decides to do when she starts talking, that's up to her. But sometimes I feel like this person doesn't really deserve me to publicly speak their name out my mouth because of the shit that happened. But I will say, this person practically begged me to send my child and my grandson to stay with her.
But before then, after grandma passed, I ended up staying with my baby father and his mother and all of them.
You gotta speak up. You kind of sound like you're mumbling.
I'm not trying to mumble. It's just that I talk low.
I know. And I talk loud, so we got to balance that out.
But yeah, so I was living with my baby father. That is a story time that I will do on my own channel. And but yeah, so long story short, I needed somewhere to go with me and my baby and called the Greyhound to the Bay from LA. And then I mean it wasn't all bad,
No, it wasn't.
especially in the beginning.
It wasn't bad in the beginning. I mean, you and Caden actually moved in before I did. I was handling the things that I was handling, and it was time for me to transition from the company that I was with to another company. So I turned the truck in Arizona. I caught the bus to the Bay, just like she did, but she was coming from LA. I was coming from Phoenix. She had already been there, what, a month
I think so. Couple
before
weeks
I
to a
actually
month.
got there.
Couple weeks to a month.
And so when I got there that Sunday.
Then I got the call that my
Woke up the next morning, that Monday, to her screaming about her mother had passed away. So yeah, that's kind of how that started.
in
And
fact,
it was a little crazy.
the crazy part is when you got there, I was already back and forth with them in the hospital.
Right.
And then overnight, she passed away. I got the call on Caden's
She
birthday,
went to glory.
the day before my son's birthday.
Right. She yeah. And then the family call, um, and we had to make arrangements to get them to North Carolina because Joy's grandmother had already made arrangements to
Sent him
have
home, back home.
her mother's remains sent back to North Carolina. So yeah, this was my first 2 days in the Bay. Um, but the person that I was with at the time, it was a new thing, it was the beginning, but we had a lot of tragedy take place at the beginning of our relationship. But we worked through it. Everything seemed to be cool and seemed to be good.
Outside of
Um,
their personal issues, I mean,
yeah, they already had some issues that, I was thinking that our situation was bad, but as time went on, I started understanding that their situation was worse than ours. And they were all together and living in the same.
yeah.
But later on, I realized that they weren't built like us. Um, so Joy and Kate, they went to North Carolina for the funeral and all of that good stuff. My mother, she went in my place because I don't do funerals. My two little cousins got killed in 2010, and something about sitting in the church looking at two caskets just kind of took something out of me. And I didn't even attend my grandmother's funeral.
Yeah. Honestly,
So
that's because honestly, that's how I feel now.
my
As
mother
my
went and represented me.
Yeah. I can honestly say that for me, as far as the funerals go, I'm not doing no more funerals.
I
I
like to remember the people the way that I knew them, and that's exactly how it was with my grandmother. I didn't want to see her laying in a box, even though after the services they cremated her.
Yeah.
But
Same.
I didn't want that visual as my last visual of my grandmother. I wanted to remember her the way that I knew her.
Right.
And she was always loving. She was the glue that held our family together because now that she's gone, family slowly coming apart at the seams. But that's a whole nother story, another time that I will probably get into on my own personal podcast at a later date. But back to what we were talking about.
So I just have to say this. I don't feel like it wasn't always toxic, and I felt like we were just trying to make it work in the
They
end.
made it toxic. We
Yeah.
didn't.
I know we didn't. But so at this time I could pretty much say that you was just wanting peace and structure and stability for us.
That's all I ever wanted. I'm not a toxic drama filled person. I don't even like arguing.
But I can honestly say, because now I'm getting the timeline back in order, because I went to North Carolina for my mother's funeral and came back.
Yeah, you did.
And then a couple months
You
later,
went to
I
Arizona
went
and
to
stayed with your
Arizona
sister.
to stay with my sisters.
Right.
And that was like right after COVID
COVID.
hit.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that,
Because she had came down after y'all left. She came down with COVID, but at the time we didn't even know what it was.
right, because I was still in high school, but I was doing it virtual during
Right.
independent study
Right.
my senior year because I dropped out after I had Kaden, then I went back my senior year
Mhm.
because I had enough credits.
And don't get me wrong, y'all. I need to put this disclaimer out there now before we get into the brass tacks and the
Where everything goes
the
downhill.
waist deep bullshit. I will say this. I love that woman. Some parts of me still do love her. but I have to love her at a distance. I can't. We can't be together no more. No, that's out. Ain't no more talking about, well, maybe we can work things out. No, that's done. But the aspects of me loving her is what she did for my child in the beginning before everything started turning toxic. We had a plan that we were supposed to put in place. I lived up to my end of the bargain. They didn't want to be a team player.
I just
That's
want to
when
give a
things
disclaimer.
start falling apart. So
The disclaimer is we are not here to place blame.
no,
We are not here to make it seem like it was all them, this, that, and the other. Because my dad might have been on the road, and I'm not gonna lie, I played my part too, but I was only reacting based off the energy and the issues that I was going through. Now I say this to say this. When I went back to Arizona to be with my sisters, my grandmother sent my little sister out there with us for the summer,
that was
all
part of
types of
y'all
things.
grieving process, though.
Yeah, I called her to let her know, hey, I may be gone for a while because I think me and my sisters
We
need
need to
this
bond
time
and grieve.
to be with each other and
Hmm.
heal as much as we can. Now, I did say this at the moment. I said, right now, it is hard for me to hear your kids call you mom, and I just lost mine. Do you know what that woman said out her mouth?
Yeah, I mean, this is where the subtle toxicity stuff seeping in. Go ahead.
I'm trying to phrase this in a way that I haven't phrased it before because you know what I said before. But that motherfucker came out her mouth and said, well, how do you think they feel when you call your dad dad?
But mind you, these teenage kids had already started calling me dad.
And the difference between my mother and their dad, my mother is deceased.
They dad just chose not to be in the picture from birth, not just recent times or since we was together. Their father hadn't been in their lives at all. And it wasn't until that time right before we moved to Texas that he even acknowledged them fully. And they actually got to meet their
Family.
paternal grandmother and aunt.
Now,
That was what? Their 16th,
I don't know.
17th birthday?
I don't know. I don't care. But now I did say I called my daddy. I said, look, I don't think I'm coming back after that statement. After she said what she said, I was pretty much like, yeah, no, I don't think I'm coming back. But then things took a turn with my sisters and my grandmother, what, a year later?
Yeah.
And I ended up having to come back.
I mean, I don't even know. I'm not even sure it was a full year later. It might have been 8 months later.
No, it was a full year because I left in 2020. I didn't come back to 2021.
Yeah, that's right. You came back like 6 months before we actually moved to
Yeah.
Texas.
So come back. Everything's fine. Y'all had a car now.
Thanks to me.
And I was able to, DoorDash and stuff like that so I could have some money in my pocket until I got, she helped me get a job, which I'm forever grateful for. I love that job. I wish I could go back to that job. I mean, I probably still could, being that I'm in one of their states that doesn't neither here nor there. Um, but I can honestly say it really didn't get as rocky because I mean it was still toxic, just a subtle toxicness, but it didn't get outrageous.
I mean, they had their own issues that they were dealing with amongst each other, and they kind of let their drama bleed onto us
Yeah.
because I wasn't home a lot of the time because I was working. Now, let me put this in the context. I was on the road. I was doing my part financially for the family. And there would be times when I wanted to come home and spend time with the family, but they didn't want me to come home. And it wasn't until much later, after the move to Texas had taken place and all of that, but that I began to realize that they really didn't want the relationship part of us, but they wanted the financial relationship part of us. But we'll get to that when we get to after the move to Texas because
Yeah, we got
it led up
the
to
events.
Texas. I dropped a lot of money moving my family from the Bay Area of California to South
H
Texas,
Town.
to Houston to be exact. And there was a lot of things that led up to that, including I made it possible for the clean up somebody's credit. But when it came time for us to work to clean mines up, wasn't no partnership in it. They didn't want to do the work. And there wasn't a lot of work they had to do. I simply said, when I send you money to pay for certain things to help clean my credit up, here's where it needs to go. You had access to the account, all of that kind of stuff. I even opened a joint account that they ended up draining on other stuff and didn't put the money back to where I had to close the account. So I learned a lot of lessons in this process that
That's why it's also a good thing.
I don't look at it as all bad because I learned a lot. I learned a lot of what not to do again.
That's what I was kind of touching on. I will honestly say that it has taught me to make sure you find the right partner
Right,
and vet them before you just get into a committed relationship with
right.
them to where now you're merging and doing all
Here's the
this and that.
problem though. See, I'm glad you brought that up because when we first got together, I was told that we can't be in a relationship if our children don't agree. My child was all in. Her 3 children were all in. Then she had an issue because her oldest child didn't hesitate to agree to the situation. And he wasn't even living in the house at the time. He was away in college. But based off of the strength of him going to school in my home state and being around the people, the type of people that I am, he didn't have any issues with it. And then once he talked to me and got to know me, he was cool with it.
All right. So we're gonna take a pause from the story
Where we going now?
and well, we haven't really touched points yet that I wanna talk about.
Okay,
So
so
we're gonna go back into the story, but we're gonna speed it up a little bit.
okay,
So leading up to moving to Texas,
okay,
right?
okay. Well, you can kind of guide it, and I'll fill in the blanks. So I'm cool with that.
So do you remember me and one of her twins
Mm-hmm.
going to North Carolina to surprise your mother
Yeah, because I was there.
for her birthday?
I was there.
We was living with my grandmother though.
Y'all stayed.
Yeah, we stayed with my grandmother.
For that visit, you stayed at
Yeah.
your grandmother's house.
Just because, she had the space.
But I was in the hotel, I do believe.
Yeah. She had the space. And, we was just like, all right, cool. I held on to a lot
You
of
did.
information based on the strength and love
Are we
that I
talking
had.
about the fact that she was pregnant at the time and didn't tell her mama?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew that's where you was going with it.
I held on to a lot of information that I should have not agreed with.
Matter of fact, that's crazy about it. That was September.
Mm-hmm.
We moved to Texas the next month.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, go ahead. I just wanted to be clear on that.
Because, it was a lot going on.
A lot going on that I had no clue what was going on.
At this point, she didn't even know either what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because I'm talking about how we was at my grandmother's house and they were telling me to take them to a certain place for a certain
Yeah.
procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought, well, is if you're not, sexually active, what would you need that procedure for?
Well, come on now, you knew better. I knew
But
better.
obviously. But it's and I told her I can't do that. Because one, I just turned 18.
And I think the crazy part
Or I
about it
was
is the
like
fact that she was
20,
trying to do it in a completely different state from where she lived.
that part. And
But,
then
you
in
know,
in the state that we were in, they're not as lenient. They're gonna want parent information.
come on now, that's a Bible Belt state. Why the fuck you
So
think I moved away from that?
but to be perfectly honest, I still don't think her mother knows to this day.
But hell, if they
Catch a clip.
you know what? I ain't even finna sugarcoat this shit no more. If they come to and watch this clip, I think she may find out some real truth about her kids that she was in denial about. I ain't got nothing to hide. Even though they was hiding everything from me and then trying to blame me for not fixing shit I didn't know was broke. But go ahead, continue.
But I say all this to say this because the next month, the whole chaos with the doctor's appointments, cool. And like, I'm not going based off like no medical records or nothing like that because HIPAA laws and that and the other. I got a call.
Hell, that's one of the reasons why I ain't using no name.
Yeah, I got a call and was like, "Oh, um, I'm pregnant. Don't know what to do, but you're the only person I've told, and I don't want mom to know yet because then it jeopardizes a whole lot."
But when I saw her in North Carolina, when we came for my mother's surprise birthday party or whatever. She didn't look right then.
When I came back
I knew something was
from
wrong
North
then.
Carolina, when I moved back, I asked her. I said, "You got something to tell me?"
I knew something was wrong then.
Because from when I left compared to when I came back, it was like a night and day.
I started noticing differences in the way she was dressing,
Mm-hmm.
the way she was carrying herself. No, hey, and I'm an OG. That's why the name say what it is. I've been around a minute. I got 2 daughters of my own. You can tell when a child is sexually active. Most people can't tell because they're not trying to pay attention to the signs or they're in denial, which is what's wrong with a lot of us in today's society. We're in denial about shit that we know
Or
what we're looking at.
you too busy trying to be your child's friend.
Exactly.
Because a lot of stuff you will overlook trying to be your child's friend and not really pay attention when they are crying out for help.
Or when somebody simply don't want to be a parent and the kids is practically raising themselves from a certain age.
Yeah, so you could tell different things. But I tell that part of the story because I can honestly say that
Hey,
that
teenage daughter going out and spending the night out and not coming back home, there's a good chance she's out there. Let's just keep it all the way 100.
well, not 100%. Sometimes she could be
That's why I said it's a good chance.
secrecy
It's a good chance.
and the not saying where you at. The I'm at such and such house, and you're not.
Well, Joy, you know your daddy don't speak in absolutes. That's why I said there's a chance.
Yeah, but I say, because that's for me. That's when everything went downhill. Because everything was fine in the beginning. I was able to DoorDash this, that, and the other. But, it was the little subtles. Oh, don't drive fast, which I don't really do. Don't have the music turned up too loud. Granted, I like music loud,
She do too.
but I wouldn't go past her volume level. I
She do
wouldn't.
too.
I don't.
Yeah.
I have a lead foot, but I've controlled my lead.
But I ain't even talking about just in the car.
Yeah, in the
When
house.
she be working, she would have the music up loud. And she work from home.
I know, but I feel like for me, I was looking at the whole situation as, all right, this is who my dad wants to be with, so I'm gonna do my part.
And she got comfortable with using something that I said when I told she asked me, where did I see our relationship going? And at the time, before any of this other crazy stuff started showing up, I was like, oh, I don't plan on going nowhere. I'm here. I even discussed getting married. But you know how every relationship, that first year to 2 years, you're in the honeymoon stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when all of those conversations was had. But then towards the end of that second year, and I'm gonna tell you where a lot of the problems started with me and her. Preparing and transitioning for this move to Texas.
Right.
She was
Because
supposed to save up some money, took some money from the 401k to help with the move, and then she got mad because we weren't moving when she wanted to move and she spent the money. So that stacked even more on me. Then she borrowed some money from a friend of the family, didn't tell me until after the fact when she started saying, we got to pay this person back. And so, that's why I said I was getting hit with a lot of stuff after the fact. And then I was getting blamed for a lot of stuff that I didn't even know about. She would talk to family members and friends and shit about what I'm not doing. But I never knew until after the fact that it was some shit that I should have been doing that I didn't know about. Like my saying, Joy tell you I say this all the time. I can't fix some shit I don't know is broke.
right. So now, um, so I can honestly say when I did come back from North Carolina, from being with my sisters and my family on my mother's side, I came back. The energy was different.
Yeah.
But it didn't hit the fan up until now. We in Texas. We moved into the apartment, and
I think that first Christmas in Texas was probably the best and the last real Christmas we had. And guess what? I ain't even get shit. And I'm the one who moved the whole goddamn family to damn Texas. I had to pay for the move. We had to pay for the girls' flights because the ladies, they flew to Texas. It wasn't like they was shut up in no moving truck and no shit like that. We flew the girls and my grandson to Houston. Moving company moved our shit. Her oldest son and her younger son drove our car, and his friend, the oldest son's friends, drove a van with the essentials in it from California to Texas. And no, I wasn't there because guess what? I was on the road working to pay for all that shit. So if say anybody try to say, well, you wasn't there and this, that, and the other, you know why I wasn't there? Because I was financing that shit. Now, back to what you was about to say.
Um,
What'd you say? Small things turn into expectations?
where are you at?
Segment 2?
We passed that.
Oh, well, okay.
We done bounced around to different things.
That's how we do.
But shoot, technically, I'm about like 5.
Yeah, because we already talking about moving to Texas.
Yeah.
Well, if we pick up from right there, we moved to Texas in October. And in January, we had a new addition to the family.
Y'all could do the timeline.
And so, I mean, and I've always looked at this, at him, and I still look at him as being my grandson too.
And my nepson.
I don't believe in all that shit. That's your nephew.
Yeah, but you
I
know why.
I know why, but
Son.
them y'all be making up words and shit.
Because I mean, he was my nephew, but
you treat him like he was your son. I know, but what I'm saying is, you know, it's semantics. Go ahead.
Anyway,
How we became the villains? Ain't that where we at? You said you was at 5. Step on off into that deep water so I can swim with you a little bit.
so what was the first issue when I became the villain? Because I was just a villain at this point.
I was already the villain and didn't know it though.
Yeah.
Because I was being left out of every damn thing, even though I'm the one paying to provide for every damn thing.
Well, they was leaving you out of everything.
Of course.
Because honestly, if they do watch this, they finna find out a whole lot that doesn't happen under their noses and didn't even know it was going on. Because quite frankly, it had became an issue of them trying to turn me against you.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest boundaries I did not set, but I did it for a reason.
And you know something? I gotta put this disclaimer out there. You know, the saying goes, "The nice guys finish last," or you know, they always get done dirty. That's true, because I was the nice guy in this situation, and what I've learned is this, and I suggest this to any man, anybody in the situation. Don't do husband shit for girlfriends.
Or wife shit for boyfriends.
Yeah. And vice versa. Like she said. Because when you do too much too soon, that's when they start trying to take advantage of you and doing you dirty and shit. Go ahead.
Now
back to the lecture at hand.
it was like every single thing I did in that house was either not good enough, not doing enough, or just flat out wrong. It was a problem. Mind you, at this time, when we first got there, I was working. You know, I can honestly say there was no physical altercations, but it was close.
Well, unless you go back to in California when she had an issue with her daughter and her daughter got out of hand and you had to handle that.
Well, technically, I didn't have to handle anything. I was given a command to not let her leave because, you know, the authorities was on the way.
Right.
So that's what I did.
Okay.
She hit me
She
first.
swung on you when you did what you had.
And I defended myself.
I can dig it.
People can take it however they want to. Yes, I body slammed her and I sat on her.
That's not funny, bro.
Since that's the ongoing issue, the deep-rooted issue that she has with me. Cool. Because she knows she used to use that against you. Let her body slam me and say don't mean it.
Well, we're not gonna talk about the fact she threw a cooler at my grandson, and I didn't find out about that shit till after the fact.
We don't get there. That's the whole way later on down the line.
Our way out the door. Go ahead.
But I mean, there was a couple after that situation where there was near, physical confrontation.
Close call, but there wasn't actual physical confrontation.
But my thing is, I mean,
what?
I don't mean to toot my own horn or to sound cocky because anybody, you's always somebody bigger and better than you. But the situation, I think you were home. You might have been home.
What was the situation?
Where I was working and I kept getting phone calls about the baby.
Is this when you was at Denny's?
No, this is when not Denny's.
Oh no, you was already.
We was already in Texas.
Okay.
I was still at wine.com.
Okay.
Before I had to quit because of my computer.
Right.
What happened? I kept getting calls, but I'm not the parent or legal guardian.
Right.
So I was trying to tell them, hey, call this number. They kept calling me.
I wasn't at home. I came home like a day or two after.
No, it was a couple hours after.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know that she was putting the baby to sleep.
Right.
Mind you, mom was just back there. Came back, didn't say nothing to me. I told her, I said, I'm getting calls. I'm actively on a call at work, having to tell them, give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna put you on a brief hold.
Right.
And handle that because they're blowing up my phone at this point. And I'm mute with the customer that I had. Mm-hmm. And I'm yelling to come get the phone. They're calling about the baby.
Right.
Fucking well at this
point. Continue.
But it gets out of hand. Now she's yelling because she's putting the baby to sleep. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I was just laughing it off up until she said,
you can edit that part out.
Yeah. Up until she said, nobody even wants her anyway. She doesn't pay any bills, this, that, and the other. She can move back in with her sisters.
That right there, response came from misinformation that their mama was feeding them. Because mind you, we had an agreement once we moved to Texas. I would pay the most expensive bills in the house. They handle the other stuff. But what I was paying in the rent alone also covered the water and what else?
The trash and sewer.
And the garbage, the trash and sewer. But mind you, with that being included in the rent,
the only real bill was the electricity.
I still was paying more for just the rent and the water and sewer and the trash
and gas
than all of the other bills left in the house. That was a fraction. What they had to pay was a fraction compared to what I was paying.
I mean,
I'm not bragging or talking no shit like that.
You paying all of that though, what's left is literally electricity, the Wi-Fi, and then all of our own personal phone plans.
At that time, you was on my phone plan, so our phone bill was getting paid.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, as far as the house bills, it was literally just Wi-Fi, which was connected to her phone plan, and the electricity.
Right, and all her kids' phones and her mother's phone was on her account.
But let's be honest, when it comes to who contributed to the house, as far as bills, we covered that up until I stopped working.
That's right, because
I was covering the entire light bill. $300 twice a week.
And I think that part of the issue,
2 times a month.
I think part of the issue why they so bitter and upset now is now that we're gone, they're forced to have to pay all of that shit on their own.
But let's be honest though, I can honestly say that it became difficult for me because I'm trying to bite my tongue. I'm trying to,
Yeah, because in the midst of that campaign, they were still trying to turn you against me.
Right. I'm still trying to keep I'm having to tell. They asking me, "Oh, have you talked to your dad?" No, because I'm trying to figure out what's their agenda of them turning me against my father.
That's what they did. that they tried to do when we took in another adopted
My
child,
brother.
another adopted child of mine. They
That's my
tried to turn him away from his family as well.
I'm not gonna say that because it's gonna kick my ass.
And the crazy part about it now is he back with the family they tried to damn snatch him away from.
Mhm.
He had a family to go back to. That's why I say, and I'm gonna keep saying, they're not like us. Because guess what? We had to get out here on our own and get back on our own 2 feet. Even though I didn't like it, my daughter opted to go to a shelter with her child to get on her feet.
I'll go into deep on
I
that.
lived on my truck till we could get it together. Now that I'm injured, that's why I'm here in New York with my child and my grandson. If it wasn't for that, I'd still be out here getting it. Anybody that know me know that I was getting out here getting it in them trucks.
For 25 years. Now, so I can honestly say that through the midst of all of this, we was never attacking anyone. We were just reacting. And honestly, I could say for me, where I know that I didn't have any boundaries because I became a maid, a housemaid, a chauffeur. You know, I was taking everybody to what they need to be done, except for her, because she always stayed home and was working or
But you know the
whatever.
crazy part about
But
that?
daycare, jobs,
School that time.
help them get their license.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, I already had my license. I taught myself how to drive, with the exceptions of my dad helping me, giving me pointers, my biological sister showing me a 3-point turn, and then my sister right up under my older sister putting me on the damn highway.
She actually got her driver's license in North Carolina, not in California and not in Texas. But the crazy
And my
part,
grandmother car with my great grandmother before she passed away was in the car.
crazy part about the things that was going on, I never knew about any of this stuff until George started telling me this stuff.
Fluff.
Well, Fluff started telling me about this stuff. I was clueless. But then anytime they would come and tell me about anything Joy wasn't doing right, and I'd be like, well, I'm finna address it. The first thing out their mouth was, well, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Or when I get home,
Everything
you adjust
magically,
everything to address it.
fine.
Then I'm the bad guy.
And you change the atmosphere in the home.
I was told that I changed the atmosphere in the house when I come home, and then Joy, Fluff, came at me one day and saying, "Well, you know what, Daddy, you do change the atmosphere in the house when you come home, but it's for the better, not the worse." They try to make it seem like you was making everything all bad, but you was actually improving everything. Because yeah, I will admit, when I first come home, nobody wanted to talk to me.
Except for me.
When I came in the house, the only people who were happy to see me when I came home was Fluff and my 2 little grandsons. They was the only ones excited to see me. Whenever you come home and you happy to see your lady, you speak to her, you got some enthusiasm in your tone, and all you get is a dry ass hey. Over time, that kind of kills things. And I used to tell people, you know, when you go home constantly to a situation like that, a real man starts to wonder, what is it that I'm fighting for? Why am I out here on the road doing the things that I'm doing, spending time away from them excessively when I want to be home, but I'm trying to make sure everybody got what they need and some of the things that they want. But I ain't getting no appreciation or none of that. And I just got tired. So I wouldn't even argue with them no more. I wouldn't even, you know, and then when I come home, what man don't want to take his lady out when they come home off the road but either you're always not feeling well or you're making some other excuse not to spend time exclusively with me. And over time, I started to realize she really didn't want me. She just wanted what I brought to the table. Go ahead, Fluff. I gotta get used to that, y'all.
I know. So I can honestly say I was overextending.
We didn't set any boundaries. To get back to the topic at hand, we didn't set any boundaries. And this is where I can be transparent. And this is where I can hold myself accountable for not stepping up and setting boundaries and saying, nah, this ain't how this gonna go. But that's because when I'm on the road, I'm hearing about all this evil, crazy stuff that's going on that everybody's supposed to be doing to each other. But then when I come home, it's like none of those conversations were ever had, with the exception of the conversations that Fluff was having with me that they didn't know about. See, the way that I started finding out about what was really going on in my house is when my child started hipping me to what they was doing and what was really going on.
And honestly, I can honestly say during all of this at the time, I was just trying to keep the peace. Even when it was to a point to where peace was nowhere to be found, but nothing but chaos and misery. Because I'm gonna be perfectly honest, during this time, excuse me, during this time, I was very depressed to the point to where I was self-medicating with alcohol and marijuana. And I was unemployed because I ended up having to quit my job, and it was hard to find another one, being that I didn't have that much experience. And, you know, I started streaming. That's where I became streaming. And I could honestly say, in my early days, I was always toe up from the flow up. And then something clicked in me and said, okay, it's time to get up and go. It's time to change. It's time to get out of here. It's time to get some work around to where I can get me and my son out of this, because I can honestly say I didn't have any boundaries to the point to where I was doing so much for everyone else. But when it was time for me to do for myself and for my child,
it was a problem.
It was a problem.
That's how it was.
I couldn't even take my son to the doctor
without
it being an issue. Asking to use the car to take my son to the emergency room because of asthma, and you say, "Oh, I'll get you an Uber," just because what? You don't want to be left in the house? And at the time, we had already knew what they were going to do at the ER. They was going to give my baby steroids for his asthma and give him a treatment and then monitor him for about an hour and then send us home, because that's what they always do.
Yeah, they just didn't want you driving the car.
Yeah. But, you know, I can honestly say that once I started setting boundaries, and that's literally when I started college online, Strayer University.
Which she will be graduating in June with a bachelor.
So when I started, you know, you get the little refund checks and this, that, and the other. And it had got to a point to where I was given, because you know I did say that I was going to take care of the electric bill. I ended up giving my whole check to them, well, to her, so that can get paid. And then come to find out, it was never getting paid.
She's spending money on other shit.
And the guy that I was talking to at the time, you know, he was letting me vent.
That's why I had to close the joint account, because they was using the money for other than what it was supposed to be used for.
And then, you know, so I was venting to the guy that I was talking to at the time. You know where I'm going. And
when they violated your privacy, is reading your shit.
I had a MacBook. Those that know MacBooks, when you are on the same iCloud with your phone, all your text messages, all your information that is on your phone,
you can access it
mirrors to your computer.
Right.
So, mind you, I done said, like, I'm venting. This is like right during tax season. You get your taxes. I got my refund check. And, you know, I had plans to get me, my son, some stuff that we absolutely needed. I gave her majority of that check though, both of them, just for her, tensions to still be up. I'm getting disrespected. So I told the dude that I was talking to at the time, I did call her a bitch. I said I just gave this bitch all my money and I'm still not being able to do what I need to do. The daughter, this is why she was still pregnant. I took her to the doctor or whatever. She said she was bored. I had my computer, so I let her use my computer, please do whatever.
She the one found all that shit,
together.
right?
She goes through my messages. Apparently, take pictures on her phone, send it to her mom. Now, me, I'm really big on energy. When I tell you, after about 5 minutes of her being on my computer, her energy shifted. She was ready to go. I was like, all right, we can go. Because, it's taking for so long. We've been there for about an hour. She was like, I'm ready to go. I said, all right, we can go. I'll let them know you're ready to go. And this, that, and the other. Now, the whole ride home, it was maybe like a 15, 25-minute ride. My ears were on fire. And she went upstairs. She stormed off upstairs. I knew something was up. I sat in that car for like 5 minutes, parking. Called my daddy. I said, I don't know what I'm finna walk into, but it's finna be some shit. Did I not?
Yep, because you gave me the heads up.
And then I go in the house.
So when I got the phone call, I played it off like I didn't know what was going on, but I already knew what was going on.
I go in the house and, she in her room now.
How?
Mom comes off the patio from smoking or whatever. And next thing you know, she's saying, just so you know, I know what you said, and I already sent the photos to your father. I said, okay, and I stand on everything that I said. Because, I said it's not like I can't take it back.
Right.
It's out there.
Well, don't get it twisted. When we say or do some shit, we don't deny it when we get confronted.
My thing is, I stand on everything that I say. There's not going to be...
So y'all already know how that go.
There's not going to be no renege. Oh, I'm sorry, this, that, and the other. No, if I said it hurt your feelings, oh well. Because honestly, at that time, I was getting fed up. Because yes, I did say some stuff about her. I feel like the daughter needed to get some kind of help because, circumstances around her son, how he was gotten to the picture, it was a little...
Yeah, we ain't gonna get into all that shit.
But,
That's they.
I was venting to a person that I knew was an honest ear.
And keeping it confident.
Yeah. So my privacy was invaded. Invasion of privacy,
That's why I don't share my devices with people.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because you be going places you ain't got no business going. If you go looking for trouble, your ass gonna find it.
That's why I don't check phones. That's why I don't care. Like, if you want to check my phone, fine. But don't
I
come
ain't
to
got
me
nothing to
crying.
hide.
Don't come to me crying. See some shit you don't like. Not saying that I have anything that you may or may not like. It's just, it is what it is. I may take something and say something that may be innocent, but you might take it as a diss, or you may take it as being disrespected. Cool. At the same time, it's my fucking phone. I pay this bill.
I knew he heard my cry. Don't pay me on that, man, y'all. I'm a little retarded.
But, I can honestly say that
I'm special.
when I started putting up boundaries, and I could say this was like maybe my last 6 months of being in the house.
Yeah, that's when the pushback really started.
That's when we was like, all right, because at this point, we was at the non-renewal of our lease.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just to the point to like, all right, I hear them whispering and stuff around the house about how they making plans and stuff to be out of the house when it's time. And
Yeah,
where they're going to go.
Leave their original plan where they was going to leave us with that shit.
And to be perfectly honest, once I figured out that, they pretty much getting their stuff straight. So let me let me figure out where I'm gonna go. I had been conversating with my sister that was already here in New York about, what was going on as far as me needing somewhere to go. And she told me through the program that she was doing in the shelter system. So I was like, at this point, fuck it.
Now, just so y'all know, all this shit was going on. I ain't have a clue none of this was going on. Her talking to her sister about going to the shelter, this, that, and that. I found out maybe 2 months before all of this shit happened.
No, it was about a month. No, it was 2 months for you.
It was about 2 months
Because
before all this shit
I
happened.
had told you that I was working on it. And then January, I did, it was around the time where you could do your taxes early and get your refund as soon as they open it up.
Hold on. We missed a big part before we got to that.
Oh, you talking about?
She had done told my child that we wasn't together anymore. My child's response was,
Do my daddy know?
because if my daddy did know, he would be moving different. And he wouldn't be trying to still find a place
For all of
us to go. Even though they was already secretly make plans to go elsewhere, she started telling me that they ain't got nowhere to go. So I'm still looking for houses and shit for all of us.
And I think with me telling her that prompted her to tell her, "Oh, I don't think it's best that we live with each other anymore."
Oh, when she told me that shit?
Yeah.
That we couldn't live together no more. And what did I do? I immediately stopped looking for a place for all their asses to stay. And by that time is when Joy told me
my plan.
They was going to the shelter and moving to New York.
Well, I didn't even tell you we was going to the shelter.
That's right. She just said she was moving to New York with her sister.
Yeah. So how that go? For me, it was like,
I found out the damn weekend that we was leaving, that she was actually going to a shelter.
No, we found out the day that we got the rental car.
That's the day. That's the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, we got the rental car that morning. And we put the stuff in storage that we wasn't taking, that y'all wasn't taking.
Yeah.
And then when you was taking me back we went to Cane's, and then when you was taking me back to the truck is when you told me y'all was going to a shelter. So I had to ride with that for about a week on the truck, the fact that my child and my grandchild going to a shelter in New York City. So yeah, when I tell y'all I was left out of a whole lot of shit, or I didn't find out a whole lot of shit to the last minute or after the fact, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I said I'm not going into any more situations or relationships with women that can't communicate. Because each and every time I tried to talk to this person, they would shut down. I would come home wanting to talk, they ain't got nothing to say. But as soon as I step back out that door to get back on the truck, my phone blowing up with text messages.
All right. Now, during the time that, okay, so I just want to let you know, because I don't even think I really fully explained this to you.
Uh-oh.
Because
I'm always finding out something new, y'all.
Oh, this is my mindset at the time.
Okay, but I'm saying I still be finding out stuff new. She still be telling me stuff now about stuff that went on that I didn't have a clue about. And we 2 years post relationship now. Go ahead.
So I can't honestly say. So it has to be like maybe the December that I told you that I was going to New York to be with my sister.
Uh-huh.
At that time, I was just like, all right, because remember I got the phones.
Right, because you left the week before your birthday.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
February the 17th.
I left Tinker.
I remember the day.
Yeah. So for me, I was just like, I can't do it no more. And at the time, I didn't want you to have to step into another situation that would lead us in this situation. And I felt like if I could prove to myself that I can move me and Kaden out here.
But yeah, you told me that.
Get stable.
You told me that. You said the reason why you didn't tell me is because you wanted to prove to yourself, not just me, that you could do this on your own.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do nothing but,
Mind y'all, I'm what, 21 going on 22?
Yeah, you was 21.
And,
You turned 22.
For me, I was like, I'm not telling nobody that I'm going to a shelter, because with the type of people we were around and the type of people that we have close knit as far as family, they're so quick to judge a situation before they know all of the information.
Yeah. And then a lot of times family tends to
discourage your decisions.
Because they want you to do what they want you to do, and they don't want you to do what's best for you. A lot
Right.
of times they want you to do what's best for them. But I've never been that.
Yeah.
Just like when I got custody of Joy at 12. This has to be said, so y'all can understand my thinking process and my mindset. All of the things that happened that led to me getting full custody of Joy, I told Joy at 12. I said, I will never force you to go around your mama, but at the same time, I will never keep you from your mama. Now, mind you, her mama ain't had no problems keeping her from me at different times. But the type of person that I am is, I will never force you to go if you don't want to go. And I will never keep you from going if you want to go. So, yeah, I was hurt when she told me what her plans were. And when I tell y'all, she had already had everything set up and in place before she told me. The rental car was booked. She had the money that she needed. She got credit cards and all this shit. Didn't have a job the first night at the time.
I didn't have a job. I was streaming.
But then she put everything together just like I raised her to be able to make shit happen. She did without me. And so I couldn't do nothing but respect her decision. And after all, she was 21 years old. She was an adult. I told her when she turned 18, I said, you grown. So I can't tell you what to do.
I was 22.
I can only advise you, Joy. You're 24. You've been here 2 years. You turned 22 a few days after you got here.
Okay.
So you was 21 when you left.
Yeah.
The week after you got here, you turned 22.
Yeah.
But I'm saying all this to say, I was hurt because I wasn't ready for my baby and my grandchild to be gone out of my home. And they was moving to a place I never really cared to live at, hadn't really been to and explored.
Yeah.
Let's don't get it twisted. Texas, I'm still coming back. But I got a situation right now where I need my child's assistance because of my injuries, so I'm here. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But I said all that to say, at 18, I told her she was grown. She was legal at 21. So she waited until she was legal to make that move. So I couldn't be mad. I had to allow her to grow up and be the woman that she is becoming. So that's where I'm at with that. Because since she been gone and away from that riffraff and that drama and toxic environment,
I've elevated.
She's elevated and she's still doing it good. She's doing it big. She's about to graduate from college in 2 months. I can't be more proud of her.
It's 2 months away.
So, hell, I'm trying to get my injuries taken care of and get these surgeries out the way so I can go live my life and she can have hers and her son and my grandson.
I mean, you're still part of it no matter
what. I mean, I'm still going to be part of it, but hell, like I told you before, since I was 21 years old, I've been responsible for somebody else other than myself.
But yeah, so
now,
okay, so
I'm ready to go live my best life, like y'all say.
No, bitch. Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna always bring some humor to this. You better believe it.
I mean, this is a heavy topic for.
Yeah, that's why I keep trying to lighten it up with the witty banter and the laughing.
But back to what I was saying. So, timeline. December you found out, right?
Actually, yeah, I found out you was leaving in December.
Right?
I done found out you was going to a damn shelter until the weekend
February.
you left.
Yeah, so I don't know why I keep burping, excuse me. But I will say this. You found out December that I was leaving. I didn't tell them that I was leaving till like January, between the January 14th to the 23rd.
Yeah, right before the little guy's birthday.
Mm-hmm. And when I mean that whole house
Yeah.
did a 360,
You was the enemy then, for real, huh?
was not just the enemy. I became
Trade them and all
a
that.
traitor, the enemy, and some more stuff.
And see, I was already that and didn't know it. But after the fact, it started making sense why when I came home, nobody really talked to me except you, the little boys, and the older boys that was living in the house. But the other two ladies in the house, they ain't have nothing for me. So I
No,
got short answers. And I didn't even know what the hell was going on.
this is how I found out that I was the enemy. I'm packing up our stuff because I'm not gonna lie, I did lie to them and say that my sisters was helping me.
Is that when they said everybody with the last name
Hold on,
somewhere to go but us?
cause now
Don't tell me you still got them damn messages.
now you done brought up. I hope I still do. We finna find out if I do.
That's crazy.
You know, I like keeping receipts.
Yeah,
Now, leading up to the days that I was leaving, you know, everybody started acting real crazy. Not like crazy and like, oh, it's getting like a toxic environment. It was already toxic, but I mean like as in like hands getting put on each other. Nah, it wasn't that kind of topic. It was like more like emotional turmoil. And I can honestly say that now all of a sudden everybody want to start doing stuff for themselves.
You know what? I just had an epiphany.
Because now I'm leaving. And they don't have me to fall back on.
I just had an epiphany.
What's the epiphany?
Well, since we've been talking about this, I thought about something.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they was always calling their daddy for stuff and so-called big
He was.
stuff, all that kind of shit for assistance and help.
Mm-hmm.
But the man that truly changed her life and elevated her life was the one she was treating like shit.
Mm.
And in that situation, I was the one getting treated like shit. When you take a motherfucker off Section 8 and put him in a place on the halfway across the country where their life was inherently made better,
Mm-hmm.
and they start disrespecting you and treating you like you don't exist or you just I was her fiance when it was convenient. But for most of the time I was the financier. And I'm not gonna be putting
I may not have the messages from before I was leaving, but I sure do got this motherfucker.
uh-oh.
March 13th, 2024.
That
Remember the post I made?
was right. Yeah, when you announced that you was leaving.
Now, we'll get up to that. So, you know, this is leading up to the cooler situation. The kids was watching TV, but they was playing with my cooler that I planned on using on the way to New York. And, you know, I just kept hearing it, bang, this, that, and the other. So I picked it up and I moved it on one of the desks that was in the living room. I didn't realize that her computer was right there. I had went back to the room to finish packing. All I hear is it get thrown. Now, the way that the desk was set up, the only person that could reach it was my son. Because he's a baby, the baby is a baby. He can't really climb on the, you know. So I'm thinking
They ain't got no problem letting his ass tap that 55 minutes TV I put in the living room though.
that part. But I go back in there. Caden is on the floor sitting next to the cooler. And the cooler's on the floor. Top got popped off because it was one of those removable tops.
Mm-hmm.
And she's standing there over there by her computer. It was like, he put it on my computer, and this computer cost more than his whole life. Whoa, ma'am. And I said, Kaden, let's go. You can help me in here. Because at that time, I think I had a couple days left. I had a couple days left. And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to end up in a jail cell. And we on our way out. We doing everything that needs to be done to leave. Because me leaving, I knew it was gonna hurt them more than anything they've done thus far. And it mainly because I was doing it for me and I was doing it for him. So the morning we getting ready to leave, I had already took my son's bed to the dumpster. I just needed to get my bed to the dumpster. I asked the oldest child, the son, her son that was living in the house with us. I asked him, hey, I don't know if you have to work or when you have to work. Can you help me, take my bed to the dumpster? He was like, I'm actually about to head out right now. I said, okay, cool. Mind you, before a week or two before that, I had asked her if I could use her car to take some of our stuff to storage. She said, cool. I woke up. I'm waking up off the wake up before I even started asking. Like me and my son, we brushing our teeth in the bathroom. I get not even a knock. Walks in the room. She walks in the room and says, "It seems like everybody with the last name Ward doesn't care and is pretty much leaving us to clean up, and and we don't have nowhere to go." Remember, I said I've been hearing them make plans about having somewhere to go.
Here's the thing though. At that point of what you talking about, I was still actively looking for a place for all of us to go.
No, you wasn't, because this is the day I was leaving.
That's what I was still looking for someone because she was still telling me they ain't have nowhere to go. That's what made me start looking.
Again?
Yeah, no, this is before she told me. She didn't tell me we couldn't live together no more until after you was gone. I was back on the truck. Because remember,
He was holding on to that.
We left in February. They didn't move out. The apartment had to be empty by March the 9th.
And you know what it was? They was holding on to that with the conclusion that I was still staying.
Right, just in case. But they were saying that just in case they shit that fell through. And it wasn't until, I guess, that's a whole nother story about, because they lied to me about where they was going. And then she told me that we couldn't stay with each other no more. So immediately I stopped looking for a place for them to go. Because I found 2 houses. 2. The first one was out there in the area where we were. She said she wanted to move closer to the city. I found the second house with all of the requirements that she asked for. That's when she said to me, we can't live together no more. Because she had already had a place for them to go. The whole time they had been plotting and planning on where they was going to go and lying to us about not having nowhere to go. But each and every time they needed something from me, I came through. But then, when I found the house big enough for all of us, we can't live together no more. Crazy part about it is I asked the creator right before I told her about the second house. I said, if this is not what I'm meant to be doing, give me a sign. When I called her to tell her about the second house, that's when she said what she said. And I looked up and I said, thank you. Because I knew then it was time for me to completely be done with that situation. And I was. I haven't laid eyes on her since. And it's been 2 years.
All right, but now, the day that we left. So after she came in,
what the hell is all this? You got 3 of them up.
gotta have variety.
Tripping.
So after she said all of that, she walked out, didn't even give me a chance. Mind you, I'm looking at her like, what is you talking about? And it was to the point to where I'm baffled and I had to look myself in the mirror like.
They was always trying to run guilt trip.
So, mind you, I'm getting the silent treatment that entire time. So I asked, the other adopted brother, after I found out that her son, he's finna go to work. Cool. I asked him, I said, hey, real quick, can you help me get some of these boxes and take my bed to the dumpster? Mm-hmm. He said, yeah, I got you. I gotta leave soon, but yeah, I got you. And in fact, I think I ended up taking him to work.
You did.
He was like, but if I ask, can you take me to work? I was like, yeah, I could take you to work if you ask. So, and I was still waiting on you to get up so we could, go get the rental car.
Had to do, yeah.
And
that was the last night I slept in that house.
Yeah, shit, mine too.
The house that I built for you.
So I was just like, yeah. So I'm getting a silent treatment, so I'm not even 100% sure I can still use the car. So I just she's texting. She's like, you could talk, and I'm like, what do you mean? You're the one giving me the silent treatment. I've been talking to everybody in the house, and nobody's responding. I'm getting silent treatment, the cold shoulder. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give them they space.
All I got was text messages.
that whole day, I was getting text messages.
Dude, the majority of the relationship, that's what I was getting because they couldn't hold a conversation.
Right. So
they didn't want me to read into the conversation because I'm an excellent at reading people when I'm paying attention.
And you're analytical. But so I asked, I was like, hey, is this still okay? Mind you, I'm texting back. Hey, is it still okay if I use the car to take the bulk of our to storage?
Yeah. And take what we call to work.
Yeah, take, the adopted brother to work. But still my brother. Shout out to him. And she was like, yeah, as long as you take him to work and make sure you nothing scrapes or pulls on the cord in the trunk or messes up the door. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm a pack rat. I know how to pack stuff.
But we didn't take the stuff.
No, we took some of the stuff.
Okay, you took it before I got up.
Yeah, I took some of the stuff.
So we took the rest of the stuff in the rental car.
Yeah, and then parked the car perfectly. It was probably the best time I parked that car. Last time I used it. And
I ain't even gonna talk about what happened to my car, but we ain't going there.
And then my dad was up. He packed the rest of his stuff up for its storage, and then for the truck. I was like, all right, we're gonna make sure everything is ready and ready to get put in the car. Now, I called us the Uber. We got the Uber.
And it took us to Bush Airport.
Yeah, Bush.
That's where we got the rental car from.
Child.
That's funny. Yeah, we done walk 50 miles to get to the damn rental car terminal.
The way where they dropped us off
at. The ride share dropped us off at. That was crazy. It was funny, but it was crazy.
We was confused. We didn't know where to go. But we got the rental car.
I slept good when I got back to the truck that night.
I slept good on the road. But so we got the rental car. We went to Cane's. And that's when I told you that we really going to a shelter. And then
that kind of fucked me up too.
And then we ate, packed up this, that, and the other. And then we went, got our stuff, took it to storage. And I kept what me and Kaden was taking with us in the car. And then.
Yeah, because my second gun came that day. Remember that Friday when I got to town, I had to go to the shop and pick my pistol up. The first one came 3 weeks before when I was at the house.
Yeah. But.
And they never knew.
Yeah, no.
They thought I was buying shoes and shit.
Yo, I remember that she was like, just let you know, your daddy just bought some shoes.
Yeah, I ain't about no shoes. I had a pew-pew in that box.
No. What was funny was she was like so upset that you had bought you some shoes, right?
I couldn't buy nothing for myself.
And when I went in the room just to be like, oh, I'm gonna chill with my dad, and I seen it, I'm like, that ain't shoes. She mad about shoes.
Because all she looked at was the shape of the box. She didn't actually pay attention to
it. And I'm like, you mad about shoes?
Which what was on the box said Springfield Armory.
But it was on ghost letters.
Yeah.
So if you
read the paper label.
Yeah, but if you're not paying attention, you would have missed it.
Yeah.
And me being your child, I analyzed just like you. I knew what it was when I walked into that room.
And that was the second one.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
The first one came a month before, and I had it with me.
Who do you think cleaned out your nightstand?
You did.
I knew you had one when I cleaned out your nightstand. And I was just like, all right, cool. Cool. But the entire mind you, I done took my dad back to the truck, this, that, and the other. We getting on the road. I'm on the road for a good 2 hours. I think I had made it to Terrell, Texas.
Was 2 hours? No. You was probably in Ennis or somewhere like that.
Nah, I was
because Terrell is.
I know
east of Dallas.
It was about 2 hours, but I know I was coming out of Dallas going into Louisiana.
Not in 2 hours.
No, it was. I don't remember how long I was driving at the time.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you remember my first stop when I shut down?
Yeah, you was in East Texas.
So was that? Tyler. I was in Tyler,
Texas. Yeah.
So I was in Tyler, Texas. I'm about to pull over because I feel myself
getting
sleepy, and I've always heard that superstition: if you see a cat run across the road and you swerve, it's time to go. Get off the road. And that's exactly what happened. And I actually hit that cat.
For us, it was a black dog.
Well,
driving truck.
It was a black, for me, it was a suicidal black cat.
Yeah.
Ran across the highway, went right up under my tires. I pulled over. I like cats, and I know what black cats symbolize. I cried. And then I got on the road, went to the nearest gas station, got gas, pulled over into the little truck stop area.
It was lit up.
And where it was lit up, and I parked the car.
Like I talked to.
And I took a nap. I couldn't, the way that them people was looking in that motherfucker, I couldn't stay. Because I wasn't sure if I was in a sundown town or not. I was like, nope, I'm not staying.
Tyler is not a sundown town, but some of the smaller towns around it is.
I think I was outside of Tyler at that point. Because it was like the gas stations and stuff was scarce.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know where I'm at, but these people was looking at us like we crazy. And all I did was go to the bathroom.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to take a little 30-minute nap. I'm going to find a different spot. And that's when I ended up in Louisiana.
Shreveport.
Yeah.
Because that's the first city you come to when you cross into Louisiana on the 20.
Yeah, so, that entire time, I'm getting text messages, but if you got an iPhone and you connect it to a car and you're using a GPS, your phone turns on Do Not Disturb while driving.
Right.
So I'm getting text messages and I'm not checking my phone because I don't text and drive.
So
when I pulled over that first time, I'm getting a whole bunch of messages. I guess you just gonna leave and not really care what happens to us and all types of crazy messages.
Now they had somewhere to go.
Right. On my other phone, I said, all right, cool. If this is how it's gonna be, I'm finna stream while I drive. I set the what's the thing called, the mount.
Yeah.
I set the mount up, the secondary mount I had.
Yeah, because you actually had 2 phones at that time.
Yeah, I set up the mount that I had, turn on my hotspot, and I started streaming. Streaming the whole time that I'm writing, just so I have something to do that occupies my other side of my mind.
You up.
And it keeps me up. So I'm streaming. The daughter, she comes into the stream. She's like, hey, just checking on you. Mind you, the 2 people that kept me up and checked on me outside of you was Kay and Vado. You remember Vado? They kept me up. They checked on me every 30 minutes to an hour like clockwork. From them, it was every 5 hours. And then when I made it to North Carolina, remember I found out that my best friend OD'd.
Yeah.
Because I had to pick up my sister that lived out here already, because she had went down to North Carolina to help with my grandmother. So I go pick her up. I find out that my best friend OD. And so I'm at this point, I stayed for maybe like a couple hours in North Carolina. Told my sister it's time to go. We went around seeing family and friends and stuff together. We went to New Bern to go see my grandfather. And then
y'all
and then we went to Virginia. I stopped in Virginia.
Yeah.
Because that's where my best friend was.
Okay.
Just to see what happened.
Right.
Turns out he OD'd on some stuff that he had told everybody that he wasn't messing with no more. He got off. Because, I mean, everybody knew he did crack. But he OD'd on meth. So, you know, I'm messed up about that, but I'm still pushing it through. I'm on a mission. I got to get to New York, do what it needs to be done for me and my son.
Yeah.
And then when we get to New York, I go live because I'm like, shoot, ain't nobody thinking about me. I let you know that we made it. I let the 2 people that was checking on me that we made it. My sister was in the car with me. I let my family, everybody else know that we made it. I went on live. I said, all right, I'm in New York. Harmony took me through, she took me through Manhattan, showed me Harlem, showed me Times Square. And then she took me to the Bronx.
I was on my way to West Texas when y'all.
Yeah, she took me to the Bronx. And my friend that lives in the Bronx, I went to his spot and got some marijuana.
Yeah, because hell, you can say it's legal in New York.
I know, but you know, we're not promoting that.
No, we're not. You got some libations, herbal.
You know.
She got them good collard greens.
And you know, next thing you know, I'm getting on my live stream. I'm like, oh, you made it. And then that sparks up a whole nother set of drama.
Yeah, running guilt trip.
And then it became a streaming issue. People that I talk to, who I mess with, you know, I'm basically venting to them like, yo, this is what I'm going through. And they like, oh, she's weird. We never really care for her because, you know, she seems like a follower. She only really hangs around you. And, you know, she just caused issues. So me, I'm still taking up for her. So me being me, I needed to express myself in one of the ways that I know how.
Okay.
I made a post. I don't have the post up anymore. But I made a post.
I remember that post.
And the response that I got from said post and said folks, mind you, in this post, I didn't say any names. I didn't say nothing to point a finger.
But as Mary Reynolds used to always say, a hit dog go holler.
Exactly. So this was the response. That's how you feel? We was toxic? Wow. Thank you for expressing your true feelings to the world and not me. Thought our relationship was much better than that. But I respect it. I always loved you as my own, and you even called me mom, but guess that wasn't real either. Again, I respect it. I wish you and Kaden nothing but the best, and I will always love you. I said, good afternoon. I'm sorry if this made you feel some type of way. That was never my intention. My intention was to purely, quote unquote, live in my truth, like they love to throw around. Yes, we had a relationship and I respect that relationship, but in all honesty, I don't owe anyone an explanation of how I feel, because these are my feelings and I personally went through things and I feel were not in my best interest. As of now, I am getting myself in a better mental space and better environment for Caden and myself, and that is best for us. There was no malice intended. And again, I do apologize if this may hurt you, but I have my own truths and my faults. And it's the same as everyone else. Was I perfect? No, but neither was anyone else. And I don't care to speak on it any further, but we all had a part to play here. And instead of faking and faking, I'd rather take accountability. And I and all do well the same well all will do to the same. I still love you, and Kaden does too. I just wish and felt things were genuine between our families. I want to move forward in love, peace, and abundance. Nothing more, nothing less, with no ill will. I get one paragraph, two paragraph, a piece of a message, another paragraph, and then a thank you for your assistance with the baby. Appreciate more than you ever will know. After basically saying, oh, we didn't do anything wrong, to sum it up. But it's just like, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, what are we talking about then?
That's wild.
Tell me about it. And plus, you know about all these messages. I sent you the screenshot as it was coming.
Yeah, I know. But we're 2 years into the future, past all that.
But we say this to say this.
The cautionary.
Peace. I mean, honestly, for holding boundaries, if something feels off, do not ignore it. Peace shouldn't cost you yourself, because I can honestly say we did lose ourselves in these situations and we are becoming peace with it and, you know, coming to terms with it, coming to grips with it, and finding ourselves again, at least for me.
I'm at peace with it. I'm at peace now. I think that one of the strongest lessons I learned that, and I don't come to this decision lightly. I don't make this decision without reservation. But I will say this. If I have to make war in order to keep the peace, then I will.
2 seconds.
Know what I'm saying? If I have to make war to keep the peace, then I will. I am not the type of person who likes to be in a lot of drama with who I'm with. I don't even like to argue. I like to communicate. I like for us to talk and be able to talk, but don't shut down just because I say something or bring up a topic you don't like, or because you don't want to talk about it, or you don't want to be held accountable. Because as a man, I'm already held accountable for everything that happens. Mm-hmm. Everything is always my fault, whether it is or not. I don't have any problems being accountable for the things that I didn't do, because it was a lot of things that I didn't do that I should have did. I shouldn't have kept my family in the situation as long as they were in it. I should have really thought long and hard when I saw the red flags before I invested in moving that family halfway across the country. And hindsight is 2020, what they say. And in hindsight, that was a move that should have never took place.
Now,
At least not with them.
we're going to say this, though. Well, I'm going to say this. This isn't about blaming.
Nah.
This is about telling the truth.
Right. Because I know I could have did more.
You guys may feel different on how we acted and how things were said. It may come off as blaming and, pointing fingers. But at the same time, we all played our part. And the only thing I regret, honestly, is not setting boundaries. And sometimes when you don't set boundaries, people will set them for you. And you may not like where you end up.
Right. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Every time they needed something extra from me, here's the crazy part about it. They would go and ask everybody else for money or whatever before they came to me. And when nobody else could come through, then they decided to come to me, and I always had it. But what they were doing is they were already building a negative view of me to everybody around them. So whenever the shit went down, I'm looking like the bad guy. That's why I always said I can't fix some shit that I don't know is broke. And so then I would come, whatever they needed, I would send it. But when I got in a bind, when I was out on the road and I done spent my last dollar on the family and I needed something to eat, who was it that came through for me? It wasn't her. It was my friend, my brothers and sisters on the road who made sure I ate. And when I was transitioning to a different company because I was getting jerked around by one, it was my brother in the industry that made sure I was good until I got back to being the dude that I knew I was, that I could start back picking up the slack. But was they trying to help a brother out like that? No. But that's neither here nor there. That's water under the bridge now. I don't even hold that grudge or feel bad about that no more. We passed all that. But I say that to say this. When somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe them. Mm-hmm. Don't ignore the red flags. Hell, don't even ignore the yellow damn flags. Sometimes protecting your peace makes you the villain in somebody else's story.
And if that is the case, we okay with that.
All the time. Because you know what? What I'm speaking on right now is this movie that is my life right now. Everybody else is a supporting cast. Just like I'm the supporting cast in somebody else's movie, whoever I'm in a relationship with. Currently, I'm single. And I
I'm not.
It's going to be a hard, well, it ain't even going to be hard. But my boundaries is set, and I'm paying attention. And at the first sign of trouble, I'm out the door. Because one thing my grandfather always told me, and he was a Methodist minister, everybody can't go with you where God trying to take you.
And some people is in your life for a reason, and some is for a season.
Right.
And I can honestly say that chapter of my life is over and done.
I'm not bitter.
And yeah, me either.
I'm not bitter. I look at it as a learning experience. I've learned a lot from my shortcomings and my failures in life. But you know what I've always learned? Because I done had a whole lot of stuff go on in my life. But guess what? I always got back up. Tried it again. So I'm not giving up on love and relationship. I'm just being precautious now. I'm setting standards and boundaries. And we all good.
Well, this is TGOM We Family. Make sure you like, comment, and share if this hits home. We are open to whatever you feel like commenting because we will read them. We are open to criticism. We are open up to your honest opinions. We're open up to how this made you feel, your thoughts and your takes on any of the situations. We are open. Like we said, this is not to blame anyone. This is not to point fingers. This is us telling our side of the story.
Because our side of the story has never been told.
Yeah, and I can honestly say, like, we've been through a lot. And we're trying to be transparent, open, and honest.
My life by itself, I can write it to a probably best-selling book, but I ain't ready to be that transparent with y'all.
You and me both. But I will honestly say that Divine Fluff, my individual channel, is coming. I know you're doing a podcast. I'll probably do streams and podcasts as well.
I got a couple of things that I'm working on. I got a couple of podcasts and a couple of different platforms that I'm working on, but that's coming at the time. It'll be revealed when the time is meant to be.
Yeah. But yeah, like, comment, and share.
And don't get it twisted. I want you to be open and honest about how you feel, even though I'm gonna keep it real with you. How you feel really ain't none of my business.
It's not.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm open for dialogue and conversation.
Yes, we also have a Discord coming soon. Follow us on all social media. I'll probably link them in the video somewhere throughout the video. And yeah,
we'll
get it together. We're about to probably see some clips and stuff. And yeah.
If you don't do nothing, keep it 100.
No boundaries equals no peace.
That's right. So,
and this is how we became the villains. And we don't care that we are the villains. If we just so happen to be the villain in your story, oh well, that's your problem. Because not me personally. If I'm the villain in your story, 9 times out of 10, you're not telling the whole story.
Well, from some people's standpoint, Jesus was a villain too. That's why they crucified him.
Mm-hmm. So, but we're not here to make this about religion.
No, it ain't about religion. I'm just using an example.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in our society, the hero
I made peanut butter cookies.
Usually starts out as the villain. So hey, there you have it. And I believe I'm getting a little long-winded, and it's time for us to go. So we always open for a conversation.
This is Divine Fluff and
OG MoBetta. Holla at you.
See you next time.